In this day and age, we tackle an important current issue in theology. What do we say when we talk about God's creation? When do we have a special time reserved for recalling that God is the creator of heaven and earth? When is the time of God's creation? September 1 is a significant date for it marks the first day of the ecclesiastical year. Sadly, not a lot of people are familiar with this, nor do they know that this is the time we celebrate God as Creator and all His creation. At this point, we come to realize the need for widespread awareness that our relationship with God's creation is deeply disturbed. We are, in fact, the cause of excessive exploitation of the earth, and this leads to many other disastrous effects such as pollution, destruction, and death. This is the La Mesa Eco Park, an ecological nature reserve next to the La Mesa Dam, a real-life example that there is still hope and there may still be time for God's creation. This poses us with a call to also make our own time for God's creation. If other people can do it, so can we.
Okay, I'm Randy Castro. I'm the Events and Functions Officer here at La Mesa Eco Park. Nandito na ako since when the park was open to the public noong September 2004. Way back 1950s dati na tong park. Kaya lang nung time nung martial law, nung time ng mga Marcoses, na-stop yung operation ng park. Ang tawag dito is La Mesa Dam Park. And yun, nung wala nang pumapasyal dito, maraming pumasok na informal settlers. Nagkaroon ng opportunity yung mga informal settlers na magtayo ng bahay nila rito. Yung swimming pool, binahaya nila. Yung mga pavilions, yung picnic grounds, nagtayo sila ng bahay dyan, and then nag-harvest sila ng mga trees. Yung ibang trees, ginawang part ng bahay nila, ginawang furniture. Yung iba, ginawang uling, binenta sa labas. And that time, ganun din ang nangyari sa loob ng La Mesa Watershed. Yung La Mesa Watershed, ito yung nakapaikot o nakapaikot dun sa La Mesa Dam, sa source ng drinking water natin. This is the primary source of drinking water ng buong Metro Manila, the La Mesa Dam. Kung mapapabayaan yung activity ng mga informal settlers sa pag-harvest ng trees o yung pag-ubos ng forest natin dito sa loob ng watershed, maaari tayong mawalan ng source of drinking water. Ang La Mesa Dam is connected o channel to Angat, Ipo Dam, Umiray. So itong dams na to, yung excess lang nila ang na-i-share nila dito sa La Mesa Dam. Ito yung kinukonsumo natin. Nung pinasok natin yung Save the La Mesa Watershed Project under the ABS-CBN Foundation through Bantay Kalikasan Program, marami mga individuals, corporate, school katulad ng school ninyo nag-support. Karoon tayo ng tree planting activity, pinaalis natin yung formal settlers, and yun nga, binalik natin yung dating forest. Nung naisip naman natin na baka matapos natin magkaroon ng tree planting activity o naibalik natin yung forest, pag naglakihan yung puno, pagbalikan naman yung mga informal settlers. So nag-hire tayo ng mga forest rangers para magbantay, mga foresters para magbantay, mag-maintain doon sa loob ng La Mesa Watershed. To sustain yung reforestation program tsaka yung security, inopen natin itong park o ni-rehabilitate at inopen to the public noong September 1, 2004. Ang nandito pa lang nun is yung swimming pool, actually that's saltwater swimming pool, the picnic grounds, fishing lagoon, and yung orchidarium. And yun, ang purpose naman ng La Mesa Eco Park is to generate income to sustain yung reforestation program at management ng La Mesa Watershed. Kumbaga lahat ng nakuha nating entrance, donations from the park, ito yung pinagsusustento natin sa loob ng watershed. unti-unti nakikilala yung Lamesa Eco Park. Maraming individuals, corporate ang nag-donate. Maraming tumulong para madagdagan yung amenities ng park. Kaya kung mapapansin ninyo yung Lamesa Eco Park, yung mga amenities natin dito, may mga naming rights. Katulad ng Dirilon Orchidarium, yung Super Ferry Boating Lagoon and Pavilion, yung Petron Amphitheater, Petron Fitness Trail, Michelle Flower Terraces. So, ito yung mga companies na nag-donate ng fund para ma-develop yung area. And ganoon din, may mga kilalang personalities din ang tumulong sa atin para magkaroon tayo ng yan, yung office natin yan, yung museum, yung additional swimming pool, yung picnic grounds. So, yun. Ika nga lumalaki na yung dumadami ng amenities natin. Ang tao naman natin dito for the maintenance is lumalaki rin, dumadami. Ako personally, ang naging designation ko dito noon, naging sweeper ako, naging ticket seller. Halos lahat ng works dito sa park ay nasubukan ko na. Ngayon, ako yung head ng sa reservation, sa events and functions. Ako rin yung graphic artist ng park. Yan, marami pang iba. And ayun. Yung park ay umikot sa advocacy ng Save the Lamesa Watershed at ganoon din sa iba pang problem na ina-address natin, yung environment problem natin na ina-address. So umikot ang park sa advocacy natin, yung Save the Lamesa Watershed, yung pag-conserve ng water. Kaya meron tayong mga packages dito, meron na ino-offer tayo sa mga schools, yung mga katulad ng organic farming o yung urban organic farming, yung waste segregation. Tinuturo din natin yung about watersheds. Siyempre, para naman sa mga companies na gusto mag-team building, binigyan din natin sila ng design for their team building na may kinalaman sa pag-save ng environment. Meron din tayong mga environmental talks na kinoconduct. Minsan na-invite kasi tayo sa iba't ibang school para magkaroon ng environmental awareness talk. At meron din tayo ginagawang mga documentations na binibigay natin for free sa mga school, sa mga estudyante na gustong matuto o nag-aaral about the environment.
It has once been said that to be of the youth is to be of the future. In the Ateneo de Manila University, several student correspondents have spared their time and shared their knowledge in order to get into dialogue with regards to taking care of the environment and nature, which is God's creation.
Hi, my name is Rico Lavinia. I was one of the founders of Task Force Antepeco last year, Ateneo Task Force Antepeco. And right now, I'm creating a task force dedicated to pushing for land reform for the next couple of months. Because in the next few months, farmer folks, indigenous people, and fisher folks from all around the Philippines are going to be marching to Manila to demand that they finally get their land after 25-30 years of fighting for those land titles. What exactly are they fighting for, and what's going to happen the next couple of months? The thing is, it's not just about economics, it's not just about their livelihood, but it's about their human dignity. Because what many of us seem to forget about is that their lives, their history, all of their family, their history as people, their identity is tied up to the land that they lived in, that their families grew up in. And so that's what they're fighting for. So what's going to happen the next couple of months is that there's a law that's going to end at June 30, 2014. And when the law ends, then basically it means that everything they fought for in the past 25 years will come to a halt. Why? Because there's this law called the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program with extended reforms, and it's going to come to an end at the end of the year. And if it comes to an end and you don't have your title yet, then what it effectively means is that the land's no longer yours. So even if you have the land title but it's not yours yet, you don't actually own the land itself, then if the law expires, then you have to give it back. So what's the problem then? The problem is that only 10% of the 1.2 million hectares of land that's supposed to be given to the farmers has actually been distributed yet. So we can see that if the law ends and you don't have your title yet, then most of the people who should have benefited from Carper, the law is talking about, wouldn't be getting anything. So that's what we're all pushing for the next few months from different sectors. So what we're doing now in Ateneo, in my political party, USADA and other people, is we want students to get involved in this push for land reform, push for dignity. And I think it's a continuation of what happened last year when the Kasiguran marchers from protested against anti-EPECO. And from 5 years ago when we actually pushed for this law to be extended for another 5 years. So I think it's something we have to help out in, given that, especially for many of us seniors, we've had 4 years of Atenean education, we've had theology classes, we've had philosophy classes, all of these things telling us to fight for the rights of other people. I think it's time for us to really live those values out and get involved in it.
Giving time for God's creation is not only for Him or for ourselves, but also for others. A time for creation is also a time for ecological and social justice.
Hi, I'm Anton Rodriguez. I'm an environmental science major and the current organization president. I think it's important that there is a course like this now because it was only lately, a few decades ago, that the environmental problems were really put in the mainstream. And I think because this is such a serious issue, it was important that people were trained specifically for this. Environmental science is by nature very interdisciplinary, meaning it combines biology and chemistry and geology and all those other sciences. But because of the gravity of these problems, it was really important that people with these specific skill sets are trained for these problems. Personally, I saw the need for being grounded in the religious side of ecological justice because as I, of course, studied this for a lot of years now in Ateneo, I found value in that it was also grounded in faith. It gave me sort of this idea that this is the other side of the coin. This is the other face of this thing, which I chose to be my course. So that's why. And I think if people started seeing the more religious side to this and not just the scientific, oh, I need to do this because it's gonna hurt the environment or it's gonna hurt my future children or the future generations. I think that's good, but it's not enough because when people ground their being eco-friendly in faith, it gives it much more meaning.
The Bible says that none of the things on earth is ours. They all ultimately belong to God. So we are called to recognize the magnitude of this crisis that we are all currently facing, to reflect on the implications of this on our faith, and to enter into dialogue with people of other faiths, and to learn from scientists and experts about what it truly means to and how we can be responsible stewards of God's creation.